Hello and welcome to Young Turks, India's longest running show on startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Shireen Bhan. Let me start by wishing all our viewers and your families a very happy Diwali from all of us here at CNBC TV 18. As we invoke the goddess of wealth and prosperity this Diwali, it is a time of celebration and new beginnings. And talking of new beginnings, early stage venture capital Indian Angel Networks has launched a 1,000 crore rupee fund. The Alpha Fund, with a 650 crore rupee corpus, carries a green shoe option of 350 crore rupees and will pick up disruptive ideas across sectors with a focus on tech-led innovation and startups solving real problems who can also boast of unit economics at scale. Now, set up in 2006, Indian Angel Network has seeded and incubated startups with a market valuation of over $9 billion and boasts of 3 unicorns and 5 soonicorns in its portfolio. While the new Alpha Fund aims to keep an eye on interesting ideas from Tier 1 cities, the spotlight will be on the Bharat market as it picks founders who are building innovative solutions to solve problems. In terms of sectors, clean tech, healthcare, fintech, SaaS, logistics, and D2C, along with emerging themes in space tech, Web3, manufacturing tech, and more. Well, this is music to the ears of startups reeling in what is turning out to be a long funding winter, as funding has hit a 2-year low of $2.7 billion in the third quarter of calendar year 2020, according to estimates by PwC. Having said that, early stage is the silver lining, accounting for 70% of total funding in the quarter. And if we look at the year-to-date data, seed funding in 2022 at $943 million has already surpassed $866 million raised in 2021. Well, joining me now for this exclusive conversation are Padmaja Ruparel, the Senior Managing Partner of Indian Angel Network, Jaideep Mehta, Managing Partner of Indian Angel Network, and Saurabh Srivastava, the Chairman of the Indian Angel Network. Padmaja and gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Mr. Srivastava, let's talk about this new fund. To start with, you know, everyone at this point in time is talking about a funding winter. The jury is out on how long it's going to last, how cold the winter is going to be. But take me through the point of view of Indian Angel Network and what you intend to do as far as this fund is concerned.
So, Shireen, the funding winter is for certain kind of startups. You know, the ones that are sort of spending like there's no tomorrow, there's no line of sight to profitability, all of that. But for the kind of companies we fund, seed and early stage, this is the best time to invest because, you know, founders have realistic sense on valuations. It brings forth founders who really are confident of themselves, who want to invest, who want to actually do startups in different areas. And if you look around historically, some of the best startups happened when things were tough, when we had your so-called funding winters. And also historically, if you look at it, there's a cycle. You know, every 7 to 10 years, you have an up and a down. There's a boom and bust in 2000, and there was one in 2008. This keeps happening. And we're not really at all bothered about public markets because the startups we're funding, I mean, they'll go public 8 years from now. So who cares? So I think for us, this is a very good time to invest. We are not seeing really any slowdown in the quality and the number of startups that are coming to see us. So this fund was a necessity because we simply ran out of money investing from the first fund. And I just add that actually, for us, it's just not one more fund. Because, you know, we started IN 15 years ago as a movement, not just as one more angel group, one more fund. We really wanted to create a platform that would invest in like 500 companies, about 5,000 crores, create like 500,000 jobs. So for us, this is a continuing, absolute continuum. So we're looking forward to this fund.
Oh, yes, looking forward to this fund. Let me get Padmaja and Jaideep to weigh in on what we just heard there from Saurabh Srivastava. Padmaja, let's address this issue about what you intend to do with this particular fund. And as Saurabh Srivastava was pointing out, the silver lining has been that seed investment continues to hold and hold very strong. The indigestion, in the words of Nikesh Arora, in a conversation that he was having with me, at least as far as some of the larger, startup plays are concerned, that indigestion has not yet fully settled. So it's not that valuations have corrected, but perhaps there is still more room for further correction. But Padmaja, what is exciting you about the quality of the startups that you're looking at, about the strength of the business model, about the line of sight in terms of profitability and unit economics? What gives you the confidence at this point in time to make these bets?
Thank you, first of all, Shireen, for having me here. I wanted to wish you and the audience a very, very happy Diwali. Taking off from where Mr. Srivastava left it, we are a 15-year-old organization. And one of the things that we've been tracking right through these 15 years is the quality of companies and quality of founders and quality of innovation that is coming in. We get 10,000 deals a year, and each year we see more innovative, higher quality entrepreneurs going startups. They're going down the path of creating their own businesses, and this is extremely exciting. And that's what has really raised this whole interest to raise the fund and invest. That's number one. Throughout our history of IN, we've been investing and breeding startups with solutions which are actually solving real problems. We are not looking at investing in one more app on the 6-inch device. There are tons of real problems in the country. The interesting part is there are entrepreneurs from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities in the country who are trying to build solutions for them. And India is such a large market that if the solution works in this country, it will surely work in some other part of the world. So we are looking at entrepreneurs and we are finding them, those who are solving real problems and can scale and go global. The second thing that we've always looked at, and we will continue to do it, is that we want to invest in companies which build hockey stick revenue lines, top lines, but are also looking at the bottom line. Yes, of course, when we invest, companies will not be profitable. They will have burns. That's why we are required. But at some point, they have to go profitable. Conversations on gross margin, unit economics, focus on cash flow becomes extremely important for us. And I think it has stood the test of time for IN. We have low failure rates, and we've seen companies which have done really well, not only on valuation, but they've become sustainable businesses where marquee investors have invested behind us. The third thing I think is very important is the entrepreneur for us. That's absolutely centerpiece. Entrepreneurs who understand what is the customer's need, what's the pain point that they are solving through their solution, and how they will scale it in an innovatively evolving business. Entrepreneurs need to be, for us, those who can really build businesses in terms of scale, who can lead teams, who can take it global, who can take it national, who can take it global. So I think for us, and this is something I think we've learned over the years, that we really look for those 2 founders, 3 co-founders who can make big businesses and yet make sure that they're sustainable, they have a bottom line at some point, and they are being able to create very valuable companies, not just valuation-based companies. So I think that's what our 15 years of history has taught us, and it has stood the test of time. We've been returning monies to investors year on year. So I think that is what we continue to build on.
In light of the experience that you've already had and the companies that you've already invested in, is there going to be a specific focus on some areas, clean tech, electric mobility, etc., Padmaja just spoke of, but anything that you intend to sharply focus on via this new fund?
One of the purposes of IN is to really help and catalyze in the creation of companies which make for a better society and which really help in terms of, repairing some of the damage we've done to our environment, women upliftment and so on. Not to repeat what Padmaja just said, but to stress on those themes there. And we certainly will be looking for organizations which are building businesses where, in our view, there isn't a trade-off between what we would call good business and climate positive business, or good business or gender inclusive business. We've got several investments in our past in Fund One and through our angel group, which are clear evidence that there doesn't need to be any trade-off at all. So that's one part. The second part, IIM always has been at the forefront of helping organizations and companies which are investing in cutting edge technologies. So space tech, Web3, these are some of the other areas. AI, Unifor, you listed as one of our, unicorns from our portfolio. These are organizations where when we invested in Unifor, it was 6 years ago. AI was just about beginning to happen. Similarly, we've got a couple of space tech companies in the Fund One portfolio from 3 or 4 years ago. So we believe that we should also be looking to catalyze nation building from a new tech perspective in some of these new areas where India deserves to be a leader on the world stage. And we certainly believe, we buy into the India story completely. We believe we have everything it takes from a perspective of talent, technology, business smarts, etc. And we are here to provide money, mentoring, and market access where possible, which is what I call the M3 mantra of IAN. So those are going to be some of the themes that we're going to be looking at. Indians building world-beating companies, whether they be from tier 1 cities or tier 3, tier 4 cities and so on. And indeed, Indians building companies which make for a better world and better societies.